Hey guys, this is Cam for 15 back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Bleach Arc review for you guys as we are here to talk, well, in the anime, the next arc, which is the Bount arc. The Bount arc. Now, when I looked up about the Bount arc, most people said this arc was bad, and it's not good. My thoughts on the Bount arc? Well, here I am to give you my thoughts. I think the Bount arc is good. No, hold on. I think the Bount arc is meh. And what I mean by meh is there's some good, there's some bad. It's kind of meh. It doesn't do it for me. And if you ask me, I kind of found myself fairly bored with the Bount arc and everything that the Bount arc was giving me. And I was not entertained. At some point, I was just absolutely waiting for this arc to be over with. So the Bount arc covers anime episodes because this is an anime filler arc, covers from episode 64 to 109. And that leads me to the kind of the first problem. And I'm not really going to go into the story. I'll mention some story points, but I'm not going to ultimately like break down the story. It's kind of just my thoughts on the arc and stuff like that, because really I don't really care for the story, because the story was just kind of stop the Bount from pretty much destroying the world. But like I said, this arc ranges from episode 64 to episode 64 to episode 110, which no, or 109, which, mind you, that goes with the first issue that I think I've seen a lot of people talk about. And the reason why, like I say, the arc is boring is because it's too dang long. This arc did not need to be this long. Like, if this arc was about, my goodness, 10, 20 episodes, fine, cool. But it was way too long. The first chunk, or the first little mini arc we get at the start of the Bount arc is pretty much we're introduced to more mod soul characters, which are Rinrin, Noba, and Kurodo. And they were all in a way at the start with this little mini arc, and it was a whole plot by Uehara to train Ichigo to better pretty much have him better prepared, to have him be a more, I guess you can say technical fighter that thinks out before he just goes out and does what he does. And at some point, this was a bad start because it was just annoying. The characters of Rinrin, Noba, and Kurodo, I just found them annoying, especially Rinrin. Nothing else to say. They really don't bring anything to the story other than they can sense the presence of the Bount characters, and stuff like that. But other than that, that was kind of it. And then that's when you get introduced to the Bount situation and stuff like that. And that goes on for legitimately till episode 92. And then when the story shifts to the Soul Society, that's when it goes on to till the arc ends. And like I said, this arc is extremely long and boring. The next thing that I have an issue with is the fights. The only fight that I was like, the only fights in the show that I was actually in, or in this arc that I was actually invested, was the Kenpachi versus Ichinose fight, and then the final fight between Ichigo and Karia. Other than that, all the other fights are forgettable, and I could care less. And what I mean by the fights is it's pretty much repetitive bullshit. What I mean by this is this. When the Bount characters start interacting with Ichigo and company, they start fighting the Bount characters, and either it becomes pretty much a beatdown, or it becomes a fight that is just dragged out way too damn long. excuse me, excuse me. Like, for example, when it was Chad, one of the mod souls, Rangiku, and then I think another Soul Society member. I forgot what that person was. They fought the old guy that can pretty much warp into in between spaces with his doll, which I'll get into a second. I want to talk about the Bount characters. And I kid you not, I like looked up at my screen a few times because at the time I was playing Mario Strikers Battle League on my Switch, and I barely kind of paid attention to this fight. And I kid you not, I think that fight took like about 4 or 5 episodes long till they finally were just to, um, you know, to save the one girl that works at Uehara's shop, pretty much. And I'm like, this fight was going on way too long. It was too dragged out. The only thing of interest in that fight that I was only given a crap about was Rangiku. And everybody knows why you give a crap about Rangiku. Gonna leave it there for your mind to imagine. Anyways, but like I said, some of these fights are too dang long. And like I said, some of these fights are repetitive. Like I said, you have Ichigo and company go through this thing of finding the bounds. They find the bounds. They fight the bounds only to get their butts kicked. Then they retreat. They try to go back for the bounds again. They fight them again. They only get their butts kicked and then retreat. Or the bounds retreat. Same thing happens for a third or fourth straight time. And then by the time you get to the Soul Society portion, where the same stuff that is happening in the real world, that was happening in the real world, is happening in the Soul Society, it just mentally and physically drains you that's watching. And it's like, there is absolutely no progress being absolutely made. Like, there is no progress Ichigo and company actually make till like the latter half of the latter half of the Bount arc, when they actually start killing the Bount characters and stuff like that. That's when progress is being made. But even then, it felt like no progress was ultimately being made. And that goes to show you why this arc was too long. The fights were absolutely boring and annoying and just a hassle to get through. Like I said, that fight with Chad Rangiku and stuff like that against the one old guy, it was just too much to handle. I was getting sick and tired of just watching this fight and just watching this arc just drag on and on and on and on and on again, and stuff like that. Now, there are some goods to this arc. I will say there are some goods. The fact that they find a way to make Uryu relevant in this arc by using this using this bangle in a way, this wristband that pretty much enhances his Quincy abilities to make him use his Quincy powers again. But by the time he has this last fight with Karia that ends, the Kenpachi Ichinose storyline, I surprisingly was actually into it, and that was one of the few storylines that I actually gave a damn about. Just to see that. And then I thought the fight with Kenpachi and Ichinose was very damn interesting with the story that was being told there of pretty much Kenpachi telling Ichinose, dude, what you're trying to do is just for revenge. I don't think what you're doing is worth all this crap just to join up these characters, just to join up with this guy. And then obviously the fight between Ichigo and Karia was good. And I enjoyed that fight at the end. I actually thought that was actually a pretty badass fight, to be honest. And I actually think that ended the Bount arc fairly nice, in a way and stuff like that. So those are kind of my 3 positives. Everything else I do not like about this arc. They really kind of they also kind of really depower Ichigo. Like, for a good portion of this arc, Ichigo can't access his Bankai abilities. And they make it like they make it a thing like, well, if you can't master your Bankai abilities, well then thing. But then lo and behold, I'm seeing him by the latter half of this arc. He's able to use Bankai just as easy as he once could. And I'm like, but I thought he couldn't use Bankai or something like that, or like he's not focused on using Bankai too much or something like that. Makes no sense. There was an annoying fight when freaking Rukia gets taken over by this one Bount character, and then you have this typical trope with Orihime, which is another kind of anime trope in general of the whole thing of, I don't want to hurt my friend because they're under control of the bad guy, when in reality, probably taking out and knocking out your friend probably actually helps them. Nobody's asking you to kill them. That whole thing was another drawn out thing that went on for like 3-4 episodes. I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? They, some of the characters and the decisions like just make absolutely no damn sense here. For example, Uryu, um, his thing this arc was pretty much he kind of gets a love interest in the form of this Bount girl named Yoshino, and she pretty much tells him about the Bount's backstory, yada yada yada, which we'll get into a few minutes or something like that. And then he ends up, I guess you can say, resonating with Yoshino. And when he resonates with Yoshino, I guess in a way you can say he kind of falls for the girl. Whatever. Then he pretty much makes the rash decision try to take on Karia all by himself. Instead of just killing Karia right then and there. This is like multiple occasion things. He shows up, helps Karia get to the Soul Society dimension, which that was a stupid decision amongst its own because he won because his legit reason for doing that was I want to do this so I can get revenge on Karia for killing Yoshino, which pretty much put the entire Soul Society in danger of being killed and stuff like that. And then, mind you, too, at the later half, when Rantau ended up fighting Karia, and what's his face? There's a point where she gives him an opening to kill Karia. He doesn't take that. He wants to save Rantau. Like, oh my goodness, Uryu made some bad decisions. I thought the Soul Society made some terrible fucking decisions. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. In the last arc, for the Soul Society arc, when Ichigo and company raided the Soul Society, and they pretty much did all this effort to save Rukia, the freaking Captain Yamato, was no nonsense, and he was straight up down to send freaking captains on Ichigo and friends by the halfway point of the arc in the Soul Society arc. And in this arc, no captains other than, I guess you could say, Toshiro ultimately get involved in this arc till like the latter half. And if anything, they don't do anything. The characters, the captain characters that end up fighting are obviously Byakuya, but he doesn't do the finishing blow. He just has a fight with Karia. So I liked at least he got involved in a way about that, but Toshiro got involved. Kenpachi got involved. What is it? I'm trying. Not Kiyoraka. The one weird guy. The one with Nemo. To Uryu. Uryu. Yeah, Uryu fought. I'm getting it. Hold on. I'm getting his name right now. Because I swear. Myryu. That guy. Crazy thing because he's so interested in the Bount characters and stuff like that. And he got involved in this. But other than that, most of the other captains didn't really do anything as of note. They just kind of sat on their asses doing nothing. And I'm just like, why can't you just send a captain to the alive, to the living world and help Ichigo out? I'm like, if anything, Ichigo was putting in the work, even though he's getting his ass kicked all the damn time. Yada, yada, yada. Simple stuff. And again, another drugged out thing. They were running away from this freaking water creature in this hospital. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? Like I said, the hero characters make very bad damn decisions. And I'm like, dude, are you freaking stupid? This, like, I'm done. Whatever. But the Bount characters. When I could tell you, I literally gave absolutely no fucks about the Bount characters. I kid you not. I cared nothing about the antagonists. I guess you can say the only Bount characters I guess seemingly were fine with, or actually did, I guess in a way, flesh out their characters, was obviously Ichinose with the backstory of him leaving the Soul Society. The one guy who was kind of the right-hand man to Karia, who actually they kind of flesh out in a backstory, and then they kind of even have more tie to his story of like realizing like what Karia is doing isn't the right way to take things and stuff like that. And then obviously the leader of the group, Karia, um, he's kind of fleshed out. If anything, he's the most fleshed out Bount character we get. But every other Bount character we see in this arc is just kind of they're evil for evil reasons, and the fact that they're just following Karia's orders. Nothing really freaking defines them for anything. They're just kind of the characters that just get in the way of the heroes that they just have to kill. Other than that, nothing else. But I do respect the fact that Ichinose, the one right-hand man to Karia, I don't know his name, sorry. They actually did flesh them out seemingly, and actually did give them good character developments moments. The one right-hand guy, I liked his whole story, the fact that, you know, especially when he fought Ichigo, he was kind of disappointed in the fact that the young generation was doing all of this and stuff like that. And he really ultimately, you know, didn't know what purpose he wanted to have by the time he finds out that Karia pretty much wants to blow the entire Soul Society up and everything. And he realizes like what we've been doing is wrong. Like he thought it was for a different reason, a different purpose. It was just to take over the Soul Society. He didn't think it like it would be coming to mass pretty much murder. And then obviously Karia gets the most fleshed out of the Bount characters. And pretty much this storyline in the grand scheme of things is a whole thing about freaking, I guess, you know, the past of the Soul Societies coming back to bite the past decision of the Soul Society coming back to kind of bite them in the ass. What we pretty much find out is way back in the past, the Bounts were created by Ron Tao. And the thing is, the Bount characters are pretty much humans, but they're pretty much immortal. So they kind of live on forever. And pretty much the problem with the Bounts have with the Soul Society is the fact that they were pretty much ostracized from the Soul Society because the Soul Society pretty much considered them failures, and they pretty much killed them and everything. And Karia kind of blames the Soul Society for everything that's happened to him in his past, because we find out when he was a little boy, they pretty much killed all his race members and everything. And he took that very much personally, and he wants to pretty much enact his revenge on the Soul Reapers for everything that's caused him pain. At the same time, we also find out he also has resentment to the Bount characters, because the Bount characters, the other Bounts weren't really focused on the Soul Reapers, and they didn't really ultimately care about getting revenge on the Soul Reapers. But you know, Karia was the kind of the guy that was like, no, I want to get revenge on the Soul Reapers. You guys should feel the same way as me. And because of it, most of the other Bount, you know, people, they ended up leaving him all alone and stuff like that. And he just felt like this is just a catalyst of everything that's happened to me in my life. So he pretty much finds more Bount characters, which are kind of the main antagonists of this arc, and they pretty much convinces them to work with him for his own goal, which is pretty much taking out everything. And the thing is, he didn't care if it was Bount, human, or even Soul Reapers. He was going to pretty much annihilate everybody with the Jihak Kisho or whatever, which is just pretty much this gigantic bomb that was set up in the past by the Soul Society and stuff like that. He's the only character that actually gets fleshed back. Even in some cases, his story. My only problem is with Karius. He's too cliche. He's too generic of a villain. What I mean by that is his villain is, oh, these people did these horrible acts to me. I'm gonna get revenge on them. What's a better revenge plot? I'm just gonna kill them all. Like, they don't really flesh out like ultimately, you know, or they don't make him anything unique, a unique villain and stuff like that. He just is a cliche villain. But even with the fact that he was cliche, I thought he was an acceptable or a solid enough villain, because he had a purpose and he felt like he was wrong in the world and stuff like that. Even though it's a cliche thing of, oh, I'm just gonna destroy and kill everybody, pretty much, and stuff like that. So that's the one thing I did appreciate about Karia, that he actually did have some fucking character. And it made the fight between him and Ichigo kind of a lot more emotional. And stuff like that. From the standpoint, after pretty much Ichigo beats him, he kind of realizes what he was doing was wrong ultimately, and that pretty much people don't deserve to die. It's kind of based on how you desire, how you want to live what you want. And again, like I said, this storyline as altogether is kind of your typical storyline with the whole thing of, I guess, the life lesson of the fact that, well, you know, when you're ostracized or you're oppressed by others, The question is, will time change? Will change happen over time? It's kind of like the race. It's kind of like racism in today's modern society. Like, will people of color like me, or Asians, or Latinos, will they stop being ostracized by the generic population that is of America? Will times change where there is everybody just sees everybody as equal? They don't see them as, oh, that's a black person, that's an Asian person, that's a Mexican person, yada yada yada, and they say these horrible things and stuff like that. They've done this. This trope has been done in several stories before and stuff like that. Notably One Piece, because I can relate with this. But overall, like, this arc really didn't do much, if I'm being honest. So it's kind of the thing that just I just flat out annoying, and I thought it was going to be in here a rant, but I just am just kind of mentally and physically tapped out, and the Bount arc takes a lot out of you, and it's really not an arc to watch for good stuff. And coming off the Soul Society arc, this was definitely a downgrade. Like, legitimately a downgrade. Most of the characters that were involved in the Soul Society arc don't even get involved in this arc, man. Like, it's honestly pathetic. And then, like I said, the Bount characters, they're not inspiring, or they're not even good villains. If anything, they were more annoying than anything. And hell, even some of the hero characters were freaking annoying as well. Like, for example, the 3 new mod souls, they were boring as hell. They had no character. They were just annoying characters, especially Rin Rin. She was annoying she was always screaming out. And mind you, I was watching the English dub, and it got freaking annoying after a while. And stuff like that. And I felt like the mod souls, they gave us nothing to do other than just being there and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be in the main continuity. I don't think they are. That would make no sense, but that's kind of the thing, and that's kind of just my closing thoughts on the Bount arc. Not to say that it was terrible, like I guess some people are saying. It's just has these flaws that just don't make it as entertaining as the first 2 arcs of this storyline that I watched watching Bleach. I didn't. So far, this is like my least liked arc of all of Bleach. And that's what happens when you kind of filler. It depends what type of filler it is. And this filler wasn't good. It was meh. It was bad, pretty much. Characters weren't inspiring. There was some good moments here and there, but other than that, there was nothing else and stuff like that that really gravitated to me to where it's like, oh no, I enjoyed it and stuff like that. And I thought maybe I could be changed, but honestly, by the time I got to like episode like 75, almost 80, I was honestly bored out of my mind. And I was like, dude, I need this arc to end. My God. And I think that's what kind of kills this arc a lot, if anything. This arc was way too long. If they just made it, like I said, 20, 25 episodes, I think it would have been doable. But they drag things out. It's too long. And when it's dragged out, it just makes the heroes look even worse and stuff like that. So, yeah, but it is what it is. So, that's kind of it. So, anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on the Bount arc, as well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Bleach content. And stuff like that. But next time on my Bleach arc reviews, we will be getting to what I was told is actually a better arc than what I just witnessed, because it's super good, and that is the Arankar arc, which at the end of the last Bount arc episode, we are pretty much foreshadowed to the character. Another thing I also like about the Bount arc is probably just the opening and ending songs for them. That was the only thing I also look forward to for the episodes. That's that. But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to watching the Arankar arc, because my co-host on the channel actually tells me like it's super good. So yes, but anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day or not this video. Until then, guys, stay safe out there. Until then, guys, peace.